This is the 2024 Tiger 900 Rally Pro, and Triumph has pumped it with steroids. The 888cc triple has been heavily revised to make 13% more peak power, up from 95 to 108 PS, and the torque has gone up too, from 87 to 90 Newton meters. Numbers you won't have a hard time believing when you listen to the lighter free-flowing exhaust bark up a storm.
Surprisingly, this is the first time ever that I'm riding the Tiger 900, and man, I feel like I've been missing out because this triple packs quite the punch. I mean, the mid-range strong enough to see the Tiger prance like a stallion at the slightest provocation. And apparently that's not even the party trick, because the real flex comes after 7,000 RPM. I cannot believe how strong the Tiger is up top. Keeps pulling like a freight train with the pops and bangs of the quick shifter to boot. And the only reason you can enjoy this rather than praying for your life to your favorite god is because of the stupendous stopping power of the twin 320mm disc, the Brembo Stylema calipers, and the well-calibrated Continental ABS system, which allows you to drop anchor in a jiffy. And again, the reason why you can brake so hard so confidently because of the top shelf suspension from Showa. The front is fully adjustable, but even in the stock setting, despite the 240mm of travel, it doesn't dive like crazy. The forks provide you really good braking support. The weight transfer is smooth and linear. And in the corners, I'm genuinely surprised at how good the front end feels despite the 21-inch front wheel. And that means you can literally put the Tiger in the corner and have a great time in them with, of course, cornering ABS and traction control to bank on. And now, before you touring folks bust my balls, the point I'm trying to make here is that all of these things have also made the Rally Pro an even better tourer. Because with all the suspension travel, the ride quality is nice and plush. With the updated ergonomics, with the handlebar now about 15mm closer to the rider, the riding position is nice and upright and comfortable. The seats are wide and padded for the long hauls. The windscreen is among the best I've experienced on adventure bikes. Does a really good job of protecting you from the wind blast, and there's also minimum buffeting, and it's also adjustable. I just wish it was a little easier to adjust on the move. You have a 20-litre tank, which is good enough for a range of at least 360 kilometers, if not more. And then you have all sorts of creature comforts like heated grips, you have heated seat, you have tire pressure monitoring system, you have cruise control, you have backlit switches. Also, from the engine front, it is surprisingly tractable, pulling cleanly in the third gear from 2000 RPM without any juddering. But yeah, I would not recommend riding the Rally Pro in the city because you will get roasted. Now, I like what they've done in terms of the twin radiators and the twin radiator fans, which keep the coolant temperature in check. It never really gets out of hand. The problem is where that heat is directed straight onto your knees, which makes the saddle a real hot mess. And I'm also not sure, unless you are 6 feet and taller, how comfortable you're going to be about riding this 228 kg beast at slow speeds in the city and crawling traffic with its 860mm seat height. And that's okay, because most of you who are looking at purchasing the Triumph Tiger 900 Rally Pro will hopefully won't be buying it to take it to your nearest coffee joint, but to more like places like this.
What an engine this! I mean, we were riding in the off-road pro mode with the off-road throttle map, which is supposed to be softer, and that engine is still capable of that kind of mayhem. Imagine riding this in the sport mode in the dirt. I highly recommend doing that with proper off-road tires. But here's the thing, the very fact that we could still have so much fun here in the dirt riding on road bias tires is again testimony to how well the T-plane crank works. And the 132 firing order works because it just makes the power delivery that much smoother, that much more progressive and predictable, giving you confidence even in these kind of conditions. And I think it's a very, very important point this. I think anyone out there who wants or is eyeing the Tiger 900 Rally Pro, I definitely recommend riding it out here in the dirt to come to grips with the T-plane crank and what it has to offer, because only here you'll appreciate it. Because if you just ride the Tiger on the road, I'm not quite sure how many of you will actually like it, because this one, above 120 kilometers an hour, above 6,000 RPM, you can feel it get buzzy on the handlebar and the pegs. Now, not too buzzy, but if you're used to the smooth, silky smooth engine on the 800, and if you're riding above 120 for long hours, it might get some getting used to. Now, Triumph knew this, and they still went ahead with the T-plane crank because they wanted to make the Tiger Rally Pro better here in the dirt, and it clearly works. But having said that, I was a little bit disappointed or left wanting with the composure of the suspension. Especially looking at how well it did on the road, the kind of support that I had to ride the Tiger 900 hard on the road. I was expecting kind of the same in this terrain as well. Now again, don't get me wrong, this is plenty capable. You have enough and more suspension travel. Suspension is really good. You have a 21-inch front, you have tubeless spoke wheels, you have enough and more ground clearance. So yeah, the Tiger Rally Pro will take you wherever it is that you want to go. I just feel it was not designed to take this kind of terrain at speed. The motorcycle has not been sprung for that kind of off-road battery. This is more of a good balance between road and off-road. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with it. It makes a whole lot of sense. And you would not think otherwise if it weren't for the name Rally in the Tiger's name. And that's the other thing. For a 228 kg beast, it actually hides its weight quite well on nice flowing dirt trails. But on the really tight and technical stuff, that's when you can feel that's really top heavy and you really do feel the weight. And then the impetus is on you as a rider to be technically very strong, to be able to muscle the Tiger 900 Rally Pro, especially on really tight technical terrain. But to summarize, I think if Triumph can fix the heating issue on the Tiger 900 like they did on the Tiger 1200, and they of course also fix this laggy interface on the dash, I think the Tiger 900 Rally Pro is a fantastic all-rounder. And for the 16 or rather 16.25 like ex-showroom price tag that this one commands, it definitely is capable enough and has the componentry to justify that price tag. But before you make that decision, I urge you to take the Tiger Rally Pro on a spin, preferably also in the dirt, and then make your own decision in terms of how you perceive this T-plane experience as character or buzz.